Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Go check out my website at skyazrael.com for life coaching and mentoring. I'm not exactly sure how to title today's video, so let's just get right into it. I have 4 ideas that I want to hash out with you guys that are kind of socio-political, where they may be statements about Western civilization, but we can also take them as personal truths. Let's just get into it, because I'm not sure how to describe this. The first idea that I want to run over with you guys is don't use today's standards to judge the past. And we're seeing this done a lot within cancel culture, the social justice warriors, and some of the really extreme left, extreme progressives, postmodernists, tearing down statues. Now, I didn't really jump into the debate when they're tearing down Civil War statues of Confederate leaders. I didn't really care. My family fought in the Civil War and they fought for the North. We won. But then I read many stories about Abraham Lincoln being torn down, about Thomas Jefferson, about George Washington, about literally all of our founding fathers being attacked. It's almost as if all of history is racist, colonialist, and evil, and we must destroy it all. But the only way that you come to that conclusion, that Winston Churchill, that's one in Canada and in London, they're taking down Winston Churchill statues and renaming shit. You can't use today's standards, your moral judgments of today, to judge the past. People in any era may feel like they're right and that they're at the forefront of thought and that they're right on the edge of progressivism and they're driving evolution forward, and they can pat them, these types of liberal elitists, intellectual elitists I should say, may pat themselves on the back awfully hard for the conclusions they've come to, but it's been that way always. And just because you have a realization tomorrow doesn't mean you go and smash down everything that happened yesterday. So it's really confusing when we see people like Lincoln or Winston Churchill, people that I think are great men that helped change the course of history in Western civilization. And it's obviously just a false edit. You're taking a belief system that you have now and forcing it into an era where that didn't exist, and then judging everybody in that era as being bad. We can do this with ourselves also, oddly enough. You judge yourself from an unrealistic standard of the present. We're constantly, not all of us, but many of us constantly look at our past and almost wish that we could tear it down like these angry students who tear down the statues. We could tear down our traumas and our mishaps and our bad situations, our guilt, our shame. We can constantly judge ourselves as being evil or bad people or fucked up people and have this narrative about ourselves based on what we thought was right in the past. There was a time when we made decisions in our past and we thought that was right. Now, we may have been stupid. We may have been misinformed, misguided, inebriated, influenced by idiots. But regardless of all that, in that moment, you thought you were doing what was right. And as we move forward, we have to just simply laugh at the past instead of go to war with it. You don't want to erase the things that you've been through, even the mistakes. Your mistakes is how you learn. Your mistakes is where your miracles are going to come from. So we want to be careful of using our standards of today, the stuff that we know today, to judge who we were when we were younger or when we were a few years ago. We have to be real careful of using the knowledge that we have gained to judge people in the past that lived in an era that was different than ours, that had different science, different philosophy, different outlooks, and they were doing the best they can to move forward. And without their actions, we wouldn't be where we are today. So I think we want to honor the past, whether it be in ourselves or in society. So let's move to the next one. Moral superiority is psychopathic behavior. People who think they're morally superior than others are psychopaths. It's a weird fucking delusional mind frame to be in. To be sitting around thinking that I'm morally better than you. That's the attitude of dictators, of cult leaders. When you start to get into this high ground and you're looking down your nose at everybody as if they're all stupid, everybody's evil, everybody's a degenerate, and in me and my family, we're the only ones that are good. You're not in a helping mode. That's your justification to turn people into subhumans, into animals, so you can destroy them. Moral superiority is the first step to genocide. Let's move on to the next one. Attacks from within are the most destructive. When society is attacked from within, it's the most destructive. There's a lot of criticism about Western civilization. There's Arab criticism, African criticism, Asian criticism, Chinese and Japanese and Koreans, they're awfully critical of Western civilization. We're colonialists, we're racists, we're this, we're that. But none of those attacks are nearly as devastating and hurtful as the attacks that we're getting from within, from our own populace, from our own society. And there's this odd frustration that instead of building upon Western civilization to continually make it better, that we should somehow tear it down. That's why the worst attack on Western civilization is from within, from its own people. That's how we destroy Western civilization. We will destroy the American empire from within. An enemy won't be landing on our shores or out of parachutes like Red Dawn. Remember that movie Red Dawn? That ain't ever gonna fucking happen, and if it does, we'll shoot every goddamn one of them. How this country will be destroyed and be a wasteland will be from within. It's the same with your own body, with your own persona, with your own mind. I might be able to withstand your attack. I might be able to live without your validation. But when I attack myself and invalidate myself, that's very hard to withstand. That's where depression comes on. That's where suicide comes on. Let's move on to the next one. It's the last one. We got time for this? Yeah, let's go over this. I've always found it interesting that there's no democracy in the streets, in the gang world, in the criminal underworld, in prison. There's no democracy. It's not majority rule. It's a fucking dictatorship. It's a cult. You do what you're fucking told. You get in where you fucking fit in, or you die. You join the fucking mafia if you're lucky. And you think guys are doing it wrong, you think the guys are hustling wrong, that maybe they're fucking running rackets wrong, you got some bright idea that you're going to try to bring to the table, and you're going to try to maybe say, hey, we should do it this way. Let me tell you something, homeboy, that's the end of you. That's the end of you. You're fucking done. You're going to be taken for a ride, and ain't nobody going to fucking see you again. You keep your fucking mouth shut. You do what you're fucking told. That's the way it is. But our society isn't like that. I found this interesting. You guys might not even get any of this stuff. I know lots of motherfuckers who have been criminals and who've tried to deprogram out of that lifestyle. And one thing that they try to carry with them is this dictatorship, cultish mind frame. There's this notion in the streets where if I don't like what you say something to me I don't like, I'll kill you. I'll at least fuck you up. Just for words. You think you have freedom of speech in the streets? I'll kill you for what you say. If you say something, just one thing, that even just sounds like an insult. Maybe I misconstrued it, doesn't matter. You're fucking dead. Dead. True freedom is allowing others to do and think as they will. In the streets, people don't allow that. In gangs, in prisons, you go to prison. You think that you're going to just do what you want? No. The inmates of your race, because it's racial, at least in many prisons out west, will capture you, put you to work, put you in their army, in their cult. There will be leadership, and you will do what they say, and you have no choice. There's no choice. You're not going to be the one that doesn't go along with it. True freedom. When we think about freedom, what is freedom? What the fuck is freedom? Is freedom the list of rules that the government makes up and says that we can have these gifts unless we fuck up and then they can take them away? So we have freedom of speech until they tell us that we don't. So is it true freedom when the government says that you have this freedom? It's like a parent saying you can go outside but don't leave the block. You better be back by the time the lights are out. And that kid goes outside, but they're not really free. They're on a leash. Everything that little motherfucker knows can be taken away like that. True freedom is being able to do and think and to say and to speak and to move and to act as you will, as you want, without anybody telling you shit. I don't know, it's just worth thinking about, holding on to a notion of true freedom, not being tricked into this false freedom of gifts and rewards. It's all food for thought. Thanks for watching.